Hey everybody, it's Ben in Beta, and today I wanted to give you an update on the Active 2.0 pressure washer that I purchased a few weeks ago. And I still love it, it's amazing, but there have been some developments. First, I did a little comparison between the Active 2.0 and my neighbor Jeremy's Chemical Guys pressure washer. He was interested in it, so he wanted to see just like how it compared to his, and he also wanted to check out a more flexible hose for his system, so we did a little comparison between the Active and his Chemical Guys, and here's what happened. This is my neighbor Jeremy, and he's got a nice Tesla Model 3 Performance. Anyway, he has this kind of cool system from Chemical Guys that he's had for a while. He really likes it. He wanted to know what the Active was like, so he's trying that out today, so we're doing a quick comparison there. But very similar system. This was around $200, $250. Has a lot of the same accessories. Did it come with that foam cannon?
No, it did not.
It did not, okay. So we're just gonna do a quick test here. He's also trying Incredible Suds for the first time. And he was pretty impressed a minute ago, but he wanted to know if it worked as good in his cannon as it did in mine. So we're gonna try that right now. All right. Pretty foamy. Add a little bit from that one because then it's the same basically, right? The same solution. So now we're looking at the Chemical Guys versus the McKillians, and you know, any foam cannon is going to be better than no foam cannon. And then we'll actually do a quick comparison, I guess, too, between the Active and the Chemical Guys. It's definitely better. It was more foam with yours than your solution was. It could just be they used more or less too. Yeah. But let's throw it on here quick. Yeah. This time we're using the Active 2.0 though. So here we go.
I would say it's a combination of the three.
But that's nice and sudsy. That's what you want.
Yeah.
All right, let's wash it up quick, and then we'll test the cleaning capabilities of the two systems as well. All right, so we washed it up quick, so now it's time to just see what the difference is between the two systems. So he's going to start with the Active, and I do think the Active is a little quieter than his system. It's definitely way quieter than the Sunjoe.
Yeah.
But let's just see what he thinks. All right, we'll do the other side, and then we'll get his opinion after he uses both systems.
The other side with mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say immediately the water pressure is noticeable.
Yep. Oh, the 20-foot hose runs out. So he definitely likes the Uberflex hose, and we didn't do the Flexzilla. He just said Uberflex is good enough for me, which I think makes sense. Yeah, I mean, they put out similar pressures. There's a little bit more water, a little bit more pressure from the Active, a little quieter. They're both good systems, but you'd save like maybe around $100 going with the Chemical Guys. Any other last thoughts?
I don't think so. I was pretty impressed. Yeah, if I would have known about that when I was purchasing one, definitely would have gone that way.
So there's Jeremy's opinion on the Active as well, and the Uberflex hose. So you can see that overall, both of us kind of felt that the Active was a little quieter. It put out a little bit more water, and it definitely was better with the foam cannon than the Chemical Guys was. But the Chemical Guys is less expensive, so it is another nice option that's between like a Sunjoe and the Active 2.0, and that's important. Now, the next thing I want to cover in this video is the fact that I ended up returning the Uberflex hose. So I'm not using the Flexzilla either. This hose I'm going to do something different with, which will be in an upcoming video. Basically, what happened with that is I knew that Active recommended a steel braided hose, and after I had tested out the Uberflex, I started to do a little more research into it and realized why. A lot of people were having issues with the Active 2.0's auto on-off feature not working after like 6 to 10 months when they were using hoses like the Uberflex or this Flexzilla. And the reason for that is these expand and it just sort of plays havoc with that sensor over time for whatever reason. Steel braided hoses like this don't do that. So I ended up picking up a couple different hoses to try out. And we're gonna go through that today and see how they work. But Active recommends a steel braided hose and I wanted something at least 50 feet. So I went with these Yamatic ones. And it's just important to note that this 3/8 inch hose, for whatever reason, doesn't come with this quick connect. And this is important because if you don't have this quick connect, you can't connect this hose to the Active system at all. The 1/4 inch hose does come with that. You can buy this separately as well, and I'll link all this stuff in the description in case you're interested in it and you want to pick one of these up. But it is really important to note that you need this 14mm to quick connect connector in order for this to work. And again, the 1/4 inch one comes with it. It was on the end when I got it. But I'm going to compare these two hoses today just to see if there's any difference. The other thing I would note is I also might consider getting the Active's hose that comes out in October, but it is more expensive than both of these combined, so it's something to keep in mind. I don't know if I'll purchase that and test it or not. We'll see. But I did want to have a hose that was going to work, and I wanted to make sure that my Active was going to last as long as possible. So that's why I switched to the steel braided hose. And if you have an Active, you might want to do that as well. But anyway, let's see what these hoses are like to use. So I did want to just show kind of what this looks like in comparison. You've seen the Uberflex before with the Active system. I'm not washing my vehicle today. I'm just kind of testing this hose out to see how this works. So there's water coming out of here, no problem. And just to see like, how does this uncurl? The Yamatic itself has its own swivel, and then my gun has a swivel, so it's like a double swivel. So supposedly this should come pretty well unfurled. What I would say is this swivel does make it a little bit easier to kind of get this all loosened up, which is nice. And it does want to lay pretty flat, which is good too. So we'll just kind of keep moving back here. And this is the first time I'm doing this. So it does lay really flat. That is nice. So being able to go around the truck or whatever, that should be pretty easy, which I like. But let's just see if there's any difference between these two hoses and what kind of pressure we get. So far, I actually like it pretty good. They're much heavier, but not in a bad way. It's makes the gun a little bit heavier, but not terrible. So let's turn it on. That's what the manual says. Make sure you're getting water out of it, kind of clear the air out of the system. And then we can turn it on. All right, let's see what happens now without any tip on the end. So it shuts off really quickly, which is good. Water through. It does shut off right away, and one thing I noticed is it seemed like it ran a little bit longer when I had the Flexzilla or the Uberflex on it as well. But let's throw a tip on and see how that works. And it does seem like it's more water than what I had with the Uberflex or the Flexzilla. So, I mean, this is kind of anecdotal at this point, but it does seem kind of like that's the case. All right, so that is with the 1/4 inch hose. Let's just switch them out really quick and see if it's any different with the 3/8 inch hose. And as I said before, the big thing with these hoses is they have the male end for the quick connect. So you actually need an adapter to make this work with a pressure washer. So that's the part that didn't come with this bigger hose that I did get with the smaller one, but you do have to have this in order for these hoses to work with the Active system or the Chemical Guys one, which is the M14 connector to the quick connect. If you don't have this, these will not connect together. Let's see how easy it is to curl up. I really need to get a hose reel. Pretty easy to do as well, which is nice. All right, so we're gonna try the bigger hose now. This one also swivels, so this should do kind of the same thing here. This one seems to want to lay a little less flat for whatever reason. It does seem to want to curl a little bit more than the 1/4 inch, but let's turn the water on and see how it goes. All right. Takes a little bit longer to get the water to come out, I don't know that I'm expecting there to be more pressure or anything with the bigger hose, but I have it, so I thought we'd give it a try and see what's different. All right, let's turn it on. And again, that was nice and quick. Does seem like there's a lot of water there, but let's see what it looks like with the 40-degree tip again. So I'm not sure it's a lot different than the 1/4-inch hose, but there is quite a bit of water coming out, and I think more than what I had from the Flexzilla again and the Uberflex. I'll try to put a comparison video in from those as well, because they did put out quite a bit of water too, but I can actually feel it kind of push back, which I didn't feel with either one of those hoses. And again, the big advantage of the steel hoses is just that they're not going to expand at all, and I guess that's just a lot better for the Active 2.0. And Jeremy saw something similar with his chemical guys with the Uberflex hose where it wanted to run a little bit more often too. It's not coming back on anyway, so far. Oh, there it is. All right. So he wants to try one of these hoses out, or both of them, and see if that helps his system or not too, because he only had a 20-foot hose, and he's still within his return period too if he wants to return the Uberflex and then go with one of these instead. The disadvantage to these is they're just a lot heavier, especially this one. And this one, for whatever reason, doesn't like to lay flat. Now that it's kind of pumped up, it does seem to lay a little bit flatter. So it takes a lot of time and effort to create these videos, and I'm getting really close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a big milestone for me. So if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Like this video if you found any of this information helpful. Share it out to anybody who might be interested in the Active or these different hoses. That would be helpful for them and for me. I will also have links to all of these things in my description if you want to pick any of these things up. But that's just a quick comparison of the Active 2.0 versus the Chemical Guys pressure washer, and an update on the hoses, as well as a quick comparison on those if you want to pick one of these ones up from Yamatic. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, live your life in beta, and we'll see you next time.